I live in Canada, in the north part of Toronto. It's pretty much quiet and not as hectic as the downtown area. My neighborhood is also very quiet as I live in a closed street. I have lived in this house for 4 years now, and before renting it, the owner told us her mother passed away in her sleep in the master bedroom. Since I'm very skeptical of ghosts and all things paranormal, I decided not to think about it too much. Nothing weird has ever happened, besides the usual eerie feelings I get when home alone. Other than that, I've never heard or seen anything until today. It was insanely humid today, and I was out getting groceries and took my dog to get a haircut. I got home at around 5 with a bad migraine, so I decided to lay down for a bit. I was not home alone as my brother and sister were visiting and were downstairs. My room isn't very big. It has the basic things a room has. On one corner I have my bed, and opposite of the bed I have a big wardrobe. The classic white ones from IKEA, nothing special. On top of the wardrobe on the ceiling there is a small opening that leads to the attic. It's not exactly a door because in order to get in the attic you need to push up on the plank and move it to the side. Now this usually doesn't bother me, but there have been countless nights where I get paranoid and wonder if there's anyone or anything living up there, mostly because nobody has ever been in the attic. My brother took a look inside of it one day, but never fully went in. He just said it was dark and had pipes traveling on the walls, which was expected. Back to the story. I lay in my room with my dog beside me. She is very frisky and will bark at anyone she doesn't recognize. I tried to fall asleep as my siblings talked loudly downstairs, and that's when my dog started to growl. I sat up, thinking maybe she was just hearing voices from downstairs, and saw her staring at the wardrobe. My heart dropped and I panicked, subconsciously trying to think of anything but a person being in there. I reached out to my nightstand and turned my fan off, and heard what sounded like whispering, except it sounded weird, as if somebody was mumbling. I made sure it wasn't my phone and heard both my siblings downstairs, so I knew it couldn't be any of those. I sat there staring at the wardrobe as my dog, still laying down on the bed, stared and barked at, well, I don't know, something in the wardrobe. Now this part I'm not very sure even happened, because it could have very well been my eyes playing tricks on me. But in between the doors of the wardrobe, between the thin crack, I saw the slightest movement of something, and that's when I screamed my brother's name and yelled at him to come upstairs. I told him to check the wardrobe, afraid of seeing a stranger in there. Even more horrifying, he flung the doors open to find nothing. This has never happened to me. I've been analyzing it over and over in my head and can't seem to think of any possible explanation. I just know I won't be sleeping in that room for a while now. I was 21. It was the weekend. I came back to my mom's from college to spend the weekend there. I can still remember like it just happened yesterday. To me, it's not particularly scary, but it still gave an impact in my understanding in the other world. It was the second day. I was tired from helping my mom the whole day. After dinner, I went out to visit my old friends to hang out. I got back very late, past midnight, and went to bed. I felt too uneasy that night. After a few minutes of sleep, I felt like someone was staring at me at the foot of my bed. I didn't really want to look, so I forced my eyes shut. After a while, I still felt like someone was there. My room was very dark, not even the moonlight shone down on it. I don't know what caused it, but I really wanted to open my eyes and see who it was. I soon regretted it. There, at my feet, on the bed, I saw something. A figure. In a white dirty torn dress, its hair messy and long, reaching its feet. It was just a split second, but it was enough for me to know what was bothering me that night. I quickly grabbed the blanket and covered my whole body and started praying that it wouldn't harm me. After a few minutes, I felt a relief sense, like it had left. I got out from under the blanket, and yes, the thing was gone. I could finally go to sleep. I didn't mention what happened to my parents, not until after a few years ago. As a matter of fact, they told me the same happened to my late grandma. It was her first time at my parents' house, and she happened to stay in the same room. She got so scared that she got sick. She said that something was trying to hurt her. She never wanted to return to the house after that. And well, whenever I come back home, I never like to sleep in that room ever again. Me and my sister grew up in a trailer in the boonies with our mom and dad. It was always creepy and strange in that old hollow. Not only was there an abandoned old church right outside our bedroom window that you could hear ghostly preaching and singing on some nights, but there was also an old cemetery in the field on Daddy's land that had headstones dated back to the 1800s that still had soft ground and maggots. There are also so many ghost stories from our childhood home, from a little ghost girl to my dad seeing a disembodied ghost leg standing in the middle of the living room and one of our dogs licking it and the other standing on the television barking at it. Here's just one of the many stories that played a part in my fear of the dark and the long hallways to this day. When I was about 14 years old, my cousin spent the night with us. He was about 12. We had been out all day and didn't get home until around 10 o'clock that night. There was a long hallway in our trailer my sister and I were always afraid of. So it was dark, and they asked my cousin to go turn on the hall light so I could go use the bathroom. As we were walking through the hall, we heard the door to the bathroom bang open against the washing machine. Mom and Dad yelled and asked what that sound was. When we looked around the door, we saw what looked like a girl in a wet green dress with long stringy black wet hair over her face crawling out of the bathroom. Needless to say, we screamed and didn't walk to the bathroom alone for years.